Hello, Matt here again. Today we're going to be going over adding activities and resources, which, as I said before, is the kind of the meat of a course. All the interactive activities and all the resources that are more like files and URLs and things that aren't as interactive. Okay, so again, we're back in our test course. First thing you always got to do is click Turn Editing On. All right, and you can see we've been, adding some stuff just as we're going along with the training. All right, so after you turn on editing, you go ahead and click on Add an Activity or a Resource. And there is the availability to do that in each topic, okay? Because each topic you'll be adding activities and resources. Let's just do it up here at the top. And this is the window that always pops up. Okay, so along here it shows all the activities, and if you scroll down, all the resources. Now, as you can see, resources aren't really interactive activities, which makes sense. The activities up here are. Every one of them does something. So, first of all, something to note, if you click on one click, it'll give you a long, fairly thorough description of what that activity does. Okay, so this is the assignment activity. It gives you a long description. This is very handy, especially when you're learning. Go ahead and go through and read these. Okay, it gives you ideas of how to use it, which can be really handy as well. And then if you want to select one, go ahead and either double click on it or highlight it like it is and click Add. I'm going to go ahead and let's do a feedback form. This is for if you wanted your students to give you some feedback on something. This is specifically what that feedback form is for collecting feedback from participants. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and click Add. Every single one of these activities or resources has an initial setup window, and they're all going to be slightly different, but they all will have some of the same aspects. So first of all, I always click Expand All. Makes it a lot easier. All right, so obviously name, description. Let's go ahead and do that just so you can see how it ends up looking on the course. Okay, so after you fill out the name and description, there's often a bunch of activity-specific settings. For instance, this one has availability. You can choose to show this between certain dates. Obviously, question and submission settings. So I'm just going to blow through these real quick. All right, and then after these type of activity-specific settings, there will always be the ones that are common throughout all activities. So common module settings is pretty much on every activity and resource. You want to make sure it's visible. You want to show it. This is something you can do if you want to. Something I want to point out again is if you don't understand what something is, click on the question mark. Okay, so this describes what that action does. And then you can turn on groups or not, and then restrict access like we've shown before, where you can hide this activity until, say, the activity above it is done. Okay. And then activity completion. This is in every single one of them. So either you can not indicate activity completion, students can manually check that box, or show it complete when conditions are met. So with a feedback form, you'd probably want to check View as completed if the feedback is submitted. Now, students must view this activity means they could just click on it and then go back, not having filled it out, and it would show as complete. All right, so you'd save and display this. Okay, so this is what you would go into from the link within the course. Obviously, I have no questions created at this point. You would go in, edit questions, make the questions, okay? So you continue on with this one. This one's kind of a complicated one, but you can see right here how it's done, all right? I'm not going to go into the details of how it's done, but you can do a multiple choice, you can do a numeric, you can do short answer, but you would set that up, and then when they click on the link within the course, it would take them to the feedback form, okay? I'm going to go ahead and go back to the course. And you'll see that here is the feedback form, and it says, please fill out the form so we can improve this course. Okay, so that's an activity. It's exactly the same with a resource, but let's go ahead and do one anyways. Something you might do is send somebody to, there's a great web page out there that you want them to read. So that would be a URL. Let's just go ahead and do that. That one's pretty simple. Within the URL resource, you'd be doing the name and the description. You'd paste the URL right here. All right. And then there's other settings that are specific to this. Do you want it to be automatic? Do you want it to embed within your course? Do you want it to open up in a pop-up outside of your course? These are things you'll have to mess with, kind of decide how you like it to work. Okay. So if I chose pop-up, it would give me the option of making how big the pop-up window is. Okay. So you just got to play with those settings. And then there's other things in here. The common ones are these last three. I have not done anything with the URL variables, so I don't know what that means exactly. I'll show you what it looks like. But if you want to look that up and check it out, please feel free. I'm going to close that. Then we get to the three common ones for every activity and resource. Common module settings are going to be, is it visible or not? Okay. Restrict access and activity completion. So resources are pretty much exactly like an activity. They all add content to your course. Let's go ahead and cancel out. Something I want to show you while we're doing that is there's a web page in the Moodle documentation site that is great for this. It's under Managing a Moodle Course, okay, and under 2.9 docs, because we currently run 2.9. You'll always want to select the one that MoodleTraining is currently on, okay? So right now it's 2.9. Now this one gives a much more succinct description of each of these things. Remember, if I clicked on assignment, it would give a long description with some possible ways to use it. Well, this is just a real quick description. And then if you click on it, it will show you, it'll give you more information and show you how to use it. Okay. So this, since we're not going into great detail right now, this is a great resource. Now let's go back. I want to show you under Managing a Moodle Course, it shows activities, resources, blocks, editing text. These are all great things. So I'm going to put that URL along the bottom of this training right now. So you'll see it, be able to use it, and be able to get to this page. Very handy for setting it up. Okay, so we've gone through how to add activities and resources. There's much more to learn about them as each one's a little bit different in its settings, but now you know how to add them so you can start filling out your course. The next video will cover how to manage enrollment. There's several different ways to enroll in a course, and you need to know how to set them up.